This is me. Not me now. Me when I was 4 years old. This is my family. On the outside, we look like a completely average American family. On the inside, that's a whole different story. My dad was an alcoholic. My mom suffered from mental health issues. And me, well, in the first grade, I was classified as learning disabled. See this video clip? It shows how kids used to pick on me. When I was 11, I found out that I had a different kind of disability, a disease called lupus.
Lupus is an autoimmune disease that can affect any organ in the body, and it's the nature of which is that the body attacks itself and creates problems and damage to the organs of the body. It affects people in various ways, but it can affect them where it can prevent them from working. It can prevent them from even doing the regular activities that they're normally accustomed to doing, like washing, etc. And unfortunately, if there's organ damage, it can actually affect them seriously health-wise. There's no cure for lupus. The medicines are used to reduce the immune system from reacting against oneself so that there's no damage that can continue to happen.
This is me graduating from beauty school. I took classes at night while in high school. Did I want to be an esthetician? No. But people told me that because of my disability, that's all I could ever be successful in. But I still had the acting bug. And despite my obstacles, I went to college, graduated, packed my suitcase, and headed on the road from Michigan to New York City.
I ended up studying private vocal lessons, and that particular voice teacher was teaching a lot of cabaret music. So I found myself getting into the cabaret world, and then shortly after that I got signed to a record label to do dance music. So all of a sudden I jumped into the recording artist genre, and I was doing dance music in clubs. I happened to be dropping a press kit off at a booking agent's office on Fifth Avenue. And I was a pedestrian, I was walking, and I was coming back home, and I was on the corner of 34th Street and Park Avenue. And unfortunately, at that same time, an impaired driver of an SUV made an illegal turn at that corner. And a cab ended up hitting him, and then that ended up veering him up onto the corner while I was standing with several other people. And unfortunately, he pinned me to a fire hydrant pole, and the impact severed my leg. When I was in the hospital as a patient, the hospital very much honored the fact of my identity, of who I was, a singer-songwriter, and they used music therapy to help me get better as part of my rehab. So they were incorporating me as a musician right from the beginning of coping with the tragic event. And I can remember one of my very first conscious thoughts being, well, I'm just going to solely dedicate my life to my music now. And if I have to do it on one leg, I have to do it on one leg.
I know we've traveled far. It's gonna be so hard to open up and just give in. But there's something in your eyes.
The first song I ended up writing during my recovery was a song that just started out as poetry, because I honestly didn't know what I was going to write after that. My identity was just shattered at that point. I didn't know what life on one leg was going to look like. In many ways, it's still relatively new to me, because I lived most of my life as an able-bodied person. And every day I wake up, I'm still reconciling a disabled life. When I get up and I put my foot on the ground, I make a choice of, how I'm going to work through the pain. the pain of living with this, that this even had to happen to me, that this is the fate for the rest of my life. So I look for ways to make decisions to make it worth it.
Seems to make you feel so good when you're bringing somebody down. But all you ever do is treat me cruel. You need to wake up and get over yourself.
Trying to do so much in so little time, the story of my life. My body just said, Jill, slow down. And I kept on saying, body, speed up. Well, sometimes your body doesn't always agree with your mind. And I ended up in the hospital.
I feel better than I did when I initially came into the hospital. I came in the hospital because I was having some difficulty walking, and it was basically brought on by exhaustion and stress.
Jill's lupus is a lupus that fortunately thus far has not attacked very much her internal organs, but certainly adds to significant debility where she cannot be expected to do many of the things that we take for granted throughout a daily life.
So there I laid. 1 week, lupus flare-up in the hospital. This was so important, and again, I just tried to sabotage it by ending up in the hospital. You know, when you're in the hospital for a week, it does crazy things to your mind. It made me think a whole lot. And this was a good thing, because for the first time, I started to realize how unhappy I was with this directing.